On Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. You know that the Minister for Education, Dr. Osei Aduchom, through CETAG has said that all CETAG teachers on strike should not be paid their salaries. Kofi Asare is Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch, joins us on the phone line now. Kofi, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to your audience. Good morning.
Do you agree or disagree with the Minister for Education on his actions through CETAG that teachers should be denied their salaries because they are on strike and haven't worked?
If the strike is illegal and if indeed you've gone beyond the minimum number of days that the labor is supposed to work, why should they be paid their salaries? Because we have laws, and the laws are there to regulate our conduct. The same strike was declared on the same issues last year. The same outcome occurred. The minister instructed that it shouldn't be paid, if you do remember, around August last year. And then there was a pardon somewhere along the line, so they ended up being paid. Same issue, same approach, same outcome. I don't think we will make progress if we continue to sidestep or ignore our own rules that we have put in place to regulate our conduct. I don't think that represents a developing society. So whether I agree or not, it depends on, one, whether, according to the law, they merit the payment of salaries or not. And that is the extent to which I agree or disagree with the minister. But to the substantive issue, substantive issue is that we've been here for 3 years. The strike started occurring, years ago. Same issue, same approach, and then always same outcome. We are not making progress because we are doing the same thing the same way, and we are expecting different results. It's not going to happen. The good thing is that this time around, we've seen progress. Government has released onto the gift list the top up for the book and visit allowance. And that is progress. That is one of the issues for which they were striking. The other good thing is that on the issue of the validation for teachers who deserve the 1 month allowance for extra work in 2021, the ministry has given their no objection, and that it is the colleges, and some of them, that are in the process of finalizing the list of teachers who deserve that top up. Because not everybody was involved in the extra teaching. So validating and submitting the list to the tech or the ministry for payment to be done, to be processed for payment, obviously it's not a function of government. Government has indicated that they are ready to pay. So for me, that is more or less an issue that you can see progress, from where we start. So these two things have been resolved or are being resolved. The third is the issue of the migration onto the public university credit system.
Right.
Okay, so what action has been taken this time around? There's been a joint committee set up by the Civil Commission, comprising all the actors, including CETAG. And this committee is supposed to work on the migration, the 20 issues that are developed, or if you like, prevented the migration of CETAG members onto the public university grading system. So this committee starting its work, and CETAG represented that committee. I think that the honorable thing to do is for CETAG to call off the strike, and then let the process of joining around the table on the migration issue take place. Other than that, having striking while negotiations are ongoing. Not negotiations.
Kofi, what negotiations are we talking about? Because these negotiations, as you mentioned earlier, had been had and agreements had been made as to what each party must do. Government has failed beyond refusing to satisfy side of the agreement. So if CETAG is on strike and you say you agree with the minister, somebody would ask, what exactly are you talking about? Why won't you ask government to pay?
Okay, so I started by listing the first two issues and indicated that government has already released the first issue. Okay, the first issue is a matter of payment, top up for book allowance, and I indicated that government has released funds last week. Okay, I checked on business yesterday, and funds have hit the schools. So that is the first issue. So I indicated that the government has paid. Then I continued on to the second one and indicated that what is delaying payment is not government. It is the colleges submitting to government the list of teachers who deserve the top-up, who work extra time in 2021. Many of them have submitted them. Some of them, there are issues. That's why they call it validation. And so that process is not being stalled by government. Government has given their no objection to pay all teachers who are validated by their institutions to have worked extra in 2021. So that is not a government issue. That's the point I want to make. Government is saying they're ready to pay. So once the list is validated and submitted to CETAG or the Data Teacher Administration Education, the payment process the processing of the payment should start. That's why I started with this. Now the third one, which is not a matter of payment, which is a matter of migrating College of Education teachers onto the universities grading system, or they want to be graded onto the universities grading system and be treated as lecturers in the university. Now, this process is what I'm saying that Fair Wages has established a committee to resolve the migration issue. And on the 11th of July, the committee was established with representation from Fair Wages, from CETAG, from the Ministry of Finance, the Tech, and all the fielding parties are part of this committee. And the committee's work is to resolve the issues surrounding the migration. So the point I'm making is that if the committee has been constituted and the committee has started its work, and its work is to resolve the outstanding migration issues, which is the third leg, or is the third issue of the three issues driving the strike. Why, if we say that we are waiting for the committee to finish its work before we call off the strike, then we'll be holding the working process of the committee to ransom. That is the point I wanted to make. Especially when we are part, when CETAG is part of that committee.
Mm. Now, the question that comes to mind is that the minister has made this call, and somebody asked the question that, well, the minister and many other people, when the NPP, the government and the party that they belong to, were out there on the campaign trail, they were also not at their desk, even though they had not declared a strike. So if they are asking for equity and they're asking for people to be paid for what they have worked for, while they were out there campaigning, they also were not working and therefore should not be paid, but they got their pay. How does he then turn around to crack the whip on these teachers?
The point I want to make is that we are governed by law. And so if the law, if the minister, let me start by saying that the minister is not the one who validates salaries. At the end of, towards the end of the month, I think 21st, 22nd, controller initiates what they call electronic verification. Okay, so that verification or validation process is not the minister. It is controller working with the employer. Okay, so the SMS alert will come to the school for one person to verify and validate whether Kofi Asare was working for at least X number of days in a month. And then there's one who will also validate, or if you like, confirm that initial verification. So there are two people always within the institutions or the regulatory body. One will verify that you work for X number of days and you get paid, and the other will validate it. So the verification process for payment of salaries is not done by the minister. The minister is not involved.
That process is known. The question I asked you, Kofi. The question I asked you, Kofi, is that the question I asked you, Kofi.
What will automatically ensure that If you didn't work, you are not paid. That's what.
So now, Kofi.
It's not a political order.
Right. So the law is clear. Now, the CETAG members, some of them say that there are people they know who are in this government, who are members of the party. The Sami Ewukus, the Yaeduchum himself, many others who were on exciting campaign trail to Asin North, Kumewu, they were on the campaign trail for the MPP presidential primaries, etc. They were not at their desks, but they were paid anyway. Why does the minister now arrogate to himself that authority to write to CETAG to say, don't pay them because they have not been at work, when he himself is guilty of what he's trying to hold people to a certain profession? You see, I agree with him.
Yeah, no, the point I am making is that
I want an answer to that question. I've heard your point. What is your answer?
I speak for education. Samir Wuku being on the campaign platform is not education. I speak for education.
No, I say Yao Educhum. Dr. Yao Educhum. Sorry, Kofi. Dr. Yao Educhum is up. There's record to show that he was on a certain platform with Dr. Baumia while he was crisscrossing the country looking for the flag bearership. He was not as the education ministry, but he was paid the salary. There's evidence to show. Why is he holding people to a standard that he failed to meet?
The question should be rather that if CETAG members.
Kofi, hold on. If you answer my question, then you can set your own question. Kofi, if you answer my question, then you can set your own question.
I'm answering the question.
Okay, so now answer my question. Don't change the question and say the question should be. What is your answer to this question?
The answer to your question is that the evidence available to CETAG that the minister or any other staff of government did not work for 15 or 20, at least 15 days in a month, and that doesn't deserve a salary, should be submitted to the Controller Accountant General and then the Federal Commission. That evidence should be submitted to the Controller Accountant General and then also submitted to the boss of the minister, who that's more like the chief of staff, and then indicate that on this number of days, this employee of government did not work. That is how laws work in every society. Because CETAG members are citizens of Ghana. And the law says that there's a minimum number of days that everyone must work to get paid. If it is 15, my memory says it right, then it means that if they have evidence that the minister for a particular month did not work for 15 days but was paid, they have to write to the lawful authority, write to the Controller Accountant General, copy the chief of staff, and then say with this. And then let them know that not only the minister, but also A, B, and C persons did not work for 15 days. This is evidence. But the person was paid.
Kofi,
so
do you know if Dr.
The money. That's how you do things. You don't say that because Johnny Hughes broke the law last year and there was nothing happened to him, I'll break the law this year. That's not how we develop society. So that evidence is very, very useful. Beautiful evidence. But it must be channeled to the appropriate quarters for action to be taken. If action is not taken, then I can come out and say that we speak for education. Why is it that CETAG submitted this evidence to the Controller and Accountant General and nothing was done about it? Is it because of the minister? That's why we come in. Not until when the evidence has been abused or submitted to rightful authority or lawful authority. So I will urge CETAG petition the Controller Accountant General and the Chief of Staff with the evidence that the minister didn't work for the minimum number of days. And then we will all pursue that particular petition and ensure that these authorities implement the law. That is what I can say on that.
I see. Kofi,
in respect of the staff strike, I'm saying that there is no reasonable basis to continue being on strike because the processes that we are calling for leading to the resolution of the matter has been instituted and you are part of the committee. So how can you say on one breath that I am part of the committee fixing the migration issues? On another breath, you are saying that we will not go on strike until the committee has done finished its work. You are stamping the process. You are holding the process to ransom. Bearing in mind that one of your issues, which has to do the payment of top-up for booking research allowance, has been paid. The second one, which is about the validation of those who should get the extra work allowance for 2021. Government is saying that they are ready to pay, and so bring the list. How does bring the list bequeath an obligation on government? How? Where's the list? If the finalized list validated is submitted to government by all the institutions, they should pay. For me, what I think should be done, and I appreciate that, yes, there's been some back and forth with the tech and the colleges about templates. today, this template, this, yes, it's a bit confusing. I think that the Minister of Education should set a deadline that the tech colleges, I'm giving you up to 15th of August. By 15th of August, make sure that every college of education has submitted their validated list of payment. If by 15th of August, we do not receive any counter list, the list we have will be submitted to the Ministry of Finance. That deadline should be set. And that the back and forth about I'm not in the list, I'm in the list. This is what is delaying the second issue. So once the deadline is set by the minister, by this day, any list we have, we will process it. I'm sure the tech, the colleges, and even CETAG will work together and ensure that a validated list of all CETAG members who taught extra in 2021 is submitted to the ministry by that deadline, so that they can have their 3,000 to this or whatever, 3,000 to this or so, paid to them immediately. So for me, the two issues, I mean, in principle, I see a commitment to resolve them. The third one is the work in progress. And once you are part of the work in progress, it becomes very, very difficult for me to appreciate why, on one breath, you are part of the work in progress. And another, you are saying that you won't call it a strike until the process has ended. That is not good faith. And that's why I'm urging on CETAG to call off the strike now that the payment of the book allowance has been made. And then and the Minister of Education to also come out and set a deadline that by this date, we are going to move to the Ministry of Finance with the list we have. And so all colleges, you have 1 week to submit to us a final list of validated staff who deserve the allowance. If we don't
Kofi, let me ask you this question. You sound very confident. Do you know if Dr. Osei Aduchum, as Minister for Education, before he wrote to CETAG to say, GTEC to say, withhold their salaries, do you know if he submitted the things that you're asking for CETAG to send to the Labour Commission and to the Fair Wages and Salary Commission? Do you know?
What I know, we work with a lot of principals and CETAG members. So what I know is that the delay in submitting in validating the list of CETAG members who deserve the allowance is between the tech and then the colleges.
Do you know if the education minister sent any of the things you're asking CETAG to send so that their salaries are not? Do you know if Dr. Osei Aduchum did that?
I'm not getting you. The minister.
I'm saying that you are asking that CETAG to prove that Dr. Osei Aduchum and many others were on the campaign trail and they were not at work over a certain period, so they should not be paid, should be submitted. I'm asking you if you know if Dr. Osei Aduchum did that to the NLC and then also to Fair Wages before he wrote to GTEC to instruct them not to pay salaries.
I'm not in a position to know because I've not even seen the letter he wrote to Fair Wages. I made my call based on the fact that there's a system for electronic verification of all government staff under the Controller General's electronic verification system. Between 20th and 22nd of every month, an SMS alert is sent to your supervisor to verify whether you worked for that minimum number of days. And then the outcome is also validated by the supervisor of your supervisor. So in the district, in the juniors, for instance, the headmaster will do the first line, and then the secretary, the CISO, and then the HR at the district education office will do the second and third one, the final one, before it goes to controller. So what I know is that the system itself will not pay you if you don't work for the minimum number of days. It is not. I wasn't referring to the troops order. I was referring to the system in place in Ghana for ensuring that staff of government work a minimum number of days. That system will not pay any CETAG member. It won't, because it's a system. It's not an order from any politician. So that system will simply say that principal confirm whether Kofi Asare worked for 15 days at Accra College of Education. And then the HR there will do the confirmation. And then the principal will validate also before payment is done. The minister doesn't play any role. The minister's order doesn't play any role. It is a system that excludes the minister. It doesn't even include the tech. Okay, it's actually the institution that will give verification, then to go to controller on an SMS system. So I didn't make my submission based on any minister. Like I didn't see any letter from the minister. But I'm saying that if our systems work, they shouldn't be verified. And so we must allow our systems to work.
Well,
and if the systems do not work for the minister, if you have evidence that the minister didn't work for a certain number of days, petition the system. That is the point I'm making. We must build systems and ensure that the systems work. Other than that, we will create a very, very brutish society. And that's what I think we all want.
Well, according to CETAG, this is from Dr. Clement Park. He says, according to CETAG, the strike has been occasioned by a number of factors. However, the bone of contention is the refusal of the employer government to implement an arbitration award granted by CETAG, granted to CETAG by the NLC in relation to the transition from diploma awarding teacher trainee colleges 5 years ago to degree awarding colleges of education. We again call on the government to meet the obligation to the lecturers so that they can return to the classroom. If this impasse is not resolved sooner, it will disrupt the progress of the students and dislodge the academic calendar. Dr. Clement Park is MP for Bolsa South and Deputy Ranking Member of the Education Committee in Parliament. I'm sure he's listening to us. And he said this.
The issue you are raising is part of the migration issue.
Right.
The migration issues cannot be discussed on phone. It's a whole bouquet. You've established colleges of education.
But you didn't mention it as one of the key issues that is warranting the strike. So just for the record, Kofi, hold on. Just for the record, you mentioned that the strike is premised on 1, 2, 3. This was not part of the premises that you.
Right. This one you mentioned is part of the third one, which is it is some of the underpinnings of the third one, which is the migration issues. And it is because staff of the of CETAG do not possess the minimum qualification to be lecturers when compared to the university grading system. Okay, not all of them. Some of them have PhD. Some of them are doctoral candidates. So they more or less qualify to be junior lecturers or lecturers. Okay, but you see, majority of their staff, of their members, do not match the university's minimum qualification. And the minimum qualification required to teach in a university is a PhD. And
not necessarily. Kofi, not necessarily. The minimum requirement to teach in a university is not necessarily a PhD. If you have an MPhil, you can enter as an assistant lecturer.
I'm talking about the practice. I'm talking about the requirement.
Okay? Right.
And also.
Yeah, but let's educate our public, Kofi. The minimum requirement to teach in a university as an assistant lecturer is an MPhil, not a PhD. Let's get that straight.
There's nothing like an assistant lecturer in the grading. In the university grading, assistant lecturer is a transitional thing. There's nothing like an assistant lecturer.
Yeah, but the entry point is not a PhD.
No, what I'm saying
Kofi, we know this.
Assistant lecturer is not a rank. Okay, it's a transitional.
No, I'm not talking about the rank. I'm talking about the entry point.
When you are a doctoral candidate, okay, after you have defended your thesis,
Kofi, the entry point. Kofi, let's get this. So we are educating the public. The entry point, the minimum requirement, the entry point to enter into a university to teach in academia is not PhD.
And if we are educating the people, let's educate them. I'm saying that no, the first rank is a lecturer. The thing called assistant lecturer is not a rank.
Granted, but the entry point is not a PhD. But the entry point is not PhD.
No, I'm saying that the policy says that the minimum qualification should be a doctorate. Okay, so if you are a doctoral candidate, you are considered once you have defended your thesis proposal. I'm talking about what the policy is, but not all universities, okay, especially some of the disciplines like law, you will find that in some of the disciplines you won't get PhD to do this. So there's that flexibility. The point that I'm making is that the migration has the difficulty of many of the CETAG members or the teachers in the colleges not having MPhil or being PhD candidates or having PhD. Majority of them do not have this. Only about 35% fall within this category. Only about 35% have this. Okay. So if you are doing migration, what happens? That is the question, lingered all over and continues to draw back this process. That is it. So it means that, for me, I have indicated all the time that it wasn't necessary for us to assume that there's going to be an omnibus ranking grading system where technical universities, college of education, staff lecturers will all be graded alongside the university lecturers. No. We could have had different grading systems. One specific for the college of education because they are not universities. Listen very well. They are not universities. They do not supervise people's research work at the postgraduate level. They only teach bachelor students and then diplomates. They teach only undergrad. University teachers teach postgraduate and supervise research work. 2, technical universities also could have had their different grading grades. That would have been the best way to resolve this. But we didn't resolve this thing at the point of doing the law, the CETAG, the College of Education law. Perhaps we could have done it through an LI after the law was passed some years ago. But we didn't address them. So now they are demanding that we want to be migrated onto the public university one because we are also lecturers, whether we have the qualification or not. Okay? Now, and I'm saying that ideally we should have gotten here. We should have had a separate one for College of Education because the College of Education are not universities. But we didn't do that. So that is the reason why this, perhaps apart from saying that it's taking 5 years, yes, it's a defect, not in the law, but there should have been an LI to clarify the human resource migration, the grading and migration issues. So that I would have known that the category of institutions we are creating in the tertiary space called colleges of education, this is how we are going to grade their staff because they are not lecturers in the university. They are lecturers in college of education. And they do not have the same level of qualification. All of them do not have the same level of qualification that the public universities. We didn't do that. So there are issues to be resolved. And I'm saying that being part of the committee to attempt resolving this issue is the first step in finding a solution. But if you say that until you see a law or until you are recognized as a university lecturer, even though you have an ME, then it becomes problematic. Then can you tell me how, if I have an ME and I'm teaching in a college of education, it means I don't have a research background. I may not have done any dissertation in my life. You understand? So how do you tell me that because you are also teaching in a tertiary institution, you should be graded at the same rank of the lecturer in the university? You understand?
I see.
So we must appreciate the dynamics of it. It's not a straightforward issue. It's a very, very thorny issue. Level of effort must come into play. Qualification must come into play. A lot of things must come into play in this discussion. But I believe that that committee should come out with something workable. That we miss an opportunity in the development of LI for the College of Education Act. If we did so, we would have had the opportunity of creating a separate grading system for the lecturers in the College of Education, different from the public universities. Okay, because they are not university lecturers; they are College of Education. College of Education are not universities; they are colleges.
But Kofi, they were all upgraded to start awarding degrees, and that's the impression that has been created in the public domain. Yes.
Yeah, but the university, no, who awards degrees? Who awards degrees?
The colleges of education do not.
It's not true. It's not true.
That's the impression that has been created.
No, it's not a good impression. It's a bad impression. The colleges are under mental
3FM 92.7.
Okay, so about 16 of them are under University of Cape Coast. They are awarding bodies. So if you attend Pursuit Training College, Pursuit College of Education, or Ola College of Education, you end up receiving a degree awarded by the University of Cape Coast, not Ola, not Pursuit. If you attend Accra or any other institution, your mental institution is Legon, University of Ghana, Legon. They will issue there. So they are not investing. They are not awarding degrees. They are not even awarding bodies. The universities, University of Ghana, University of Education, Winneba, University of Cape Coast, these are the awarding bodies awarding the Bachelor of Education degrees, not the college.
I hear you, Kofi. Kofi. So bottom line is that
way to distinguish them from the public universities.
I see.
Same way we have a distinction between the public universities and the technical universities.
Kofi, so the bottom line is that you side with government and not with CETAG. Is that correct?
I don't side with government. I think the strike with the payment of the top up for the book and research allowance and the constitution of the committee, which is at the part of to resolve the migration issues, the strike has outlived its usefulness. It shouldn't be seen as being one that is just to hold government to ransom or to hold the process of migrating, discussing how the migrating to ransom. So it was necessary at the beginning. Some action has been done by government. CETAG should call off the strike. Government should announce the deadline for the submission of all validated staff who deserve the extra allowance. And probably within the next 2 weeks, initiate the payment processes. So that the first two issues are fully resolved. Then the third one is the migration, which is work in progress around the table, continue. I think that if we continue with this win-win attitude, we can go far. But if we say we are going to sit down until all the issues are resolved before we return to school, we are going to throw the academic calendar out of board. We will have to close down the College of Education. It will have an implication on the education system in general. And so I don't think that the strike at this point is necessary. If we see that government is not acting, if we see that the process at the committee is dragging until there will be a reasonable basis, to make some industrial action demand, but not when the process only started on the 11th of July. I think their first meeting was supposed to be on the 15th of July. So it's at the formative stages. So let's not hold that process to ransom. Let's give that process the benefit of the doubt, and then expect that it will run expeditiously until we have any reason to suspect that there's an inertia or there's a lack of political will.
CETAG say what do you say?
No, it is not. No, the young part there, it will not work because there's been on strike for over 2 weeks. If we follow strictly the law, we should be closing the colleges by now. I think it's 21 days or so. We should be closing the colleges by now. So Yati and family there is no longer an option. I think that establishing the committee is an admission that Yati, because if Yati and Fa, the committee wouldn't have been established. Second, I think that paying the top up of 1,000 cities or so for the book and research also indicates that Yati, because if for Yati and Fa, that money would have been paid. And so, but the third one I'm saying is that we must set a deadline for the payment of the allowances, because this is a 2021 allowance that's delayed for about 3 years. We can't just say that the colleges are the ones delaying in submitting their validated list. I think the ministry should set a deadline. If within 1 week or so we don't receive any contrary list, we'll go with the one we have and process for payment, so that we put that issue also to rest, because it has been a long time coming from 2021 when teachers work extra because they work the whole of the 12 months in a particular year.
Kofi Asare, thank you. He's the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch. Great.
Ask them to call off the strike.
Saying you asked them to call off the strike.
Yes, it's not solving any problem at the moment. It's call off the strike.
I hear you. Thank you. Kofi Asare is with the Africa Education Watch. Helen, to call off or not to call off?
I think I join in the calls with Dr. Clement Apak, because he also makes the point that the academic calendar is about to be thrown into a bit of a frenzy. But at the same time, the trust levels you can see have broken down to the point where I'm sure the over 3,000 CETAG members are just waiting to see whatever monies are owed actually hit the account, because if you listen to Kofi is sort of saying they should acquiesce to what government is saying, go back, and if there are any anomalies or things are not moving according to a specific deadline, then they can take some industrial action. But this is what they are already doing. Will that not be more of a disruption if they go back and then they realize that, well, actually they've agreed to go back, but the timelines have not been heeded to? Right. Because like you said, negotiations are long due.
Yeah, we're done. We finished the negotiations. Yes. You have to fulfill your side of the bargain. You have not. And then we strike again, and then now everybody says, let's go back. I mean, so how responsible are you to us? It's a simple question. How responsible have you been, or are you willing to be to us? Helen and I get into agreement. Abiam is the moderator or mediator, right? We agree that, I will give you 3 flasks, and then in return, you also print my documents and bring to me. I've given you the 3 flags, but you have not presented my documents to me. And then when I say, I'm protesting, Abiam says, don't worry, don't protest. Please continue giving her the flask. One day she will give you the documents. I mean,
or Abiam says, "Oh, let's go and negotiate." Someone, you think at that
let's
point,
let's go and talk again. We've finished the talk.
We've agreed on something. Some decisions have been made. Let's just see it through.
I'll see you shortly.